The London conference hall fell into a profound silence. 300 of the world's leading economists stared, their professional composure lost, at the projection screen. A single world map, dated for 2065, materialized on the display. At its unexpected center was the nation of Korea. The accompanying data was staggering: population 180 million, GDP $8.5 trillion. These figures ranked the entity as the world's third largest economic power. More shocking was the territory. The unified Korean peninsula, Manchuria, and Mongolia were integrated into one colossal economic bloc. A German professor raised a hand. His voice laced with disbelief. "Professor, is this a geopolitical joke?" Dr. James Wilson replied with cold objectivity, "The data does not lie." He was presenting the logical conclusion, derived from 4 decades of meticulous East Asian economic analysis. Wilson began by addressing the crisis. Everyone thought they understood. South Korea's birth rate remained at the global lowest. The United Nations had issued grave warnings. Korea may cease to exist before the year 2100. Yet, Wilson's research led him to a fiercely contrary conclusion. He stated, "The low birth rate is not a disaster. It is a profound opportunity." A wave of skeptical murmuring swept through the audience. Wilson displayed a map, showing the demographic crisis across all of Northeast Asia. The decline was a shared crisis affecting China, Japan, and Russia equally. Only one nation possesses the capacity to fill this impending regional vacuum. Instead of collapsing inward, Korea intentionally used its shrinking density to expand outward. The critical first phase of this continental expansion focused strategically on Manchuria. The demographic hemorrhage in northeast China's 3 provinces was statistically devastating. New, technologically advanced signage appeared across the streets of Yanbian, almost exclusively in Korean. Local Yanbian streets were rapidly morphing into commercial districts, identical to Seoul's Myeongdong. Research confirmed that 61% of all new employment in the area was generated by Korean corporations. An overwhelming 83% of the Yanbian economy was tied to Korean capital investment. Yanbian residents articulated their identity crisis. "My salary is paid by Korea. Am I Chinese or Korean?" Professor Wilson stated, "Economic flows ignore political borders. When economics takes the lead, politics is compelled to follow the new reality." The analysis shifted to Mongolia, a nation caught between Russia and China. Mongolia made a clear, strategic third choice, aligning its destiny with Korea. By 2024, Korea was confirmed as Mongolia's largest foreign investor, accounting for 38% of investment. The preferred long-term employment destination for 83% of Mongolian youth was Korea. Mongolian students provided the context: "China attempts to dominate us, but Korea treats us with respect and honors its commitments." The Mongolian government made a truly historic decision. They formally designated the Korean language as the nation's official second language across all primary education. This was a sovereign, voluntary commitment to integrate into the Korean economic sphere. Wilson defined the structural reality. The economic border has already structurally superseded the political border. Korean firms operated the vital telecommunications and logistics networks in Manchuria. They simultaneously maintained the essential power grids across Mongolia. Control over the 3 strategic pillars: communications, power, and logistics determines the region's true economic master. Reinforcing the economic structure was the potent force of culture. Teenagers in Yanbian grew up on BTS, while Mongolian youth internalized values from K-dramas. The Roman Empire expanded territory using legions. In contrast, Korea is expanding influence by capturing hearts through culture. This ethical model, built on soft power, represents the definitive 21st century superpower. The most critical and volatile variable remained North Korea. As Chinese support evaporated due to internal crises, North Korea was forced to find its only viable exit: the south. Defector elites confirmed the Pyongyang leadership was already studying the South Korean economic model. The comprehensive resumption of the Kaesong industrial complex was a procedural inevitability. Once inter-Korean cooperation was fully restored, the 2 Koreas would become technically legally separate. but functionally a single economic market. Professor Wilson argued that this entire integration would be achieved through the most ethical methodology in all of recorded history. Unlike every previous empire defined by military conquest, Korea's rise was powered purely by technology and trust. Korea's integration of Manchuria and Mongolia is not driven by coercion, but by the voluntary choice of its people. This is the ultimate superpower template expansion achieved without invasion, and an empire constructed solely upon shared trust. Skeptics challenged the premise, arguing that the Chinese regime would never surrender Manchuria. Wilson delivered his final counter-argument: China will not surrender it. They will simply lose the infrastructural capacity to sustain it. China's looming debt crisis will force Beijing to prioritize its core internal economy. History has repeatedly shown that it exceeds our political imagination. This prediction is not theory, it is a reality already underway. Wilson presented the final world map: the United States, China, and the newly established Korean Economic Union. Every indicator points inexorably in this single, defined direction. The world will witness the astonishing birth of a new superpower. One built on trust, not military aggression. That nation is the Republic of Korea. History is already in motion.